Good morning, everyone. Will DuPree here in the KXAN live studio. We do appreciate you all joining us here this morning on our streaming platforms as we talk about Black History Month. There's just 2 days left in February, and we, of course, want to celebrate Black History Month fully here at KXAN. And we do have some special reports that are going to be airing to talk about that and highlight some people here in the community that are doing incredible things to share that history and that legacy with everyone else. So to bring in our guest this morning, we have someone very special joining us here in our digital space. It's KXAN reporter Candy Rodriguez. Candy, thank you for being here.
Will, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and Candy, you highlighted one particular part of our special that's going to be airing tomorrow night, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But first, introduce us to who you're going to be talking about and what she does here in the community.
Yeah, so her name is Anita Roberts, and she lives here in Austin, and she's actually been here for several years now. She's originally from Alabama, but she is basically on a mission to really create a community within the African American community and develop connections. And this morning, if you were watching KXAN News today, you might have caught her. We had her on air, and I kind of want to show you that right now.
All right, so we are going to air this little piece, and then we will come and talk back in just a moment.
I knew that there were other African Americans here, just to know where they were. So that's one of the things that I've made a mission to do, is to create a community. People didn't want to be in the book. And they didn't want to be in the book because most people are doing their job. And they're doing great things in their jobs, but they don't really get the accolades. But I told them, it's not about you. It's about the little boy and the little girl who looks like you, who says, you know what, I wonder if I can do this. And they look at you and they say, yes, I can. Don't tell me there's no Black people in Austin, because I've got proof right here. I've got proof. We are just like everybody else. And I think that's the biggest lesson of it all.
All right, there is Anita Roberts you just heard from, and that was from Candy's story this morning that aired on KXAN today. Candy, fill us in a little bit more about the work that she's doing. She has a publication she puts out for the community to highlight different people here in Austin, right?
Yeah, she does, and I actually have it right here with me. It's called Austin Community News. It's the Black Business Journal, and she's been doing this for a while now, and this is free. You can find it around town. And so basically, this is essentially the first one that she put out, and you can see there are a bunch of people on here. And so this is sort of where the idea for these two books that I'm highlighting in this piece came from, and I'll get to that in a second. But just to give you some background on her, Anita Roberts is actually a retired lieutenant colonel, Will. So she actually, that's why she ended up in Austin. She was in the Army for 20 years. She ended up in Austin, and I think she tells me she got out in 2008. And when she got out, she tells me that she noticed that the African American story just wasn't being told. She lived on the west side for a very long time, so she would often run into people, she would see people, but she just kind of felt like she was still missing a community aspect there. And so she kind of wanted to learn more about the African American community here in the Austin area. So, you know, she on her own sought out community leaders. She went to East Austin because she was like, I have to go to the source. I have to learn more about my community. She met with a lot of community leaders, as I mentioned, Nelson Lender, one of them, and she basically got this list of people, and she was like, I want to interview them. I want to share their stories. I want to showcase what I see in my community because I want others to see what I see. And so she came up with this really long list, and from that she got this. This is the first book that she put together. It's Achievements in Black Austin, and this came out in 2017, if I'm remembering correctly off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And this is Anita right here, as you just saw her. And so, another side note, you see all of these magazine covers. Well, this is what she's been doing for a long time. When she was in the Army, her job was to tell the Army story. And when she got out, she created several magazines, several publications, Opulence, then Made in 2011. Then she had Round Rock Living, which I think she still has. I'll have to double check with her. And then that's when we got to this. And so she realized from doing this, she was like, you know what? I want to showcase, like I told you, Will. She wanted people to see what she was seeing. And so she came up with this, and I'm telling you, 200 people, like dozens and dozens of people fill the pages.
Just
of
profile
this.
after profile, it seems.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm telling you, once she was done, she had a whole list of people. Like, there you go. She had from CEOs, community activists, city leaders, lawyers, doctors, journalists. She had a lot of folks in here. And so basically she just wanted people to see what she was seeing in the community.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, and I think it fills a void in the community to be able to promote some of these voices and these people that maybe others might not be familiar with. This is a way to showcase them.
Yeah, and so one of the things is, I will tell you, and I'm going to call out two of my girlfriends.
Okay.
Because Kara and Miranda, two of my girlfriends, they always jokingly tell me, you know, hey, if I come visit you in Austin, take me to the African American community, because they themselves are African American. And that is something that I've heard from other people here in the community. Data shows that African Americans make up less than 10% of the Austin population. So Anita's mission is to basically showcase, like, hey, we're here. And as a gentleman that I've highlighted in the story that's airing tomorrow, Ryan Coaxum, he said, Black people are here and we're thriving. And he's actually in this book. This is the second book, because remember, I told you there was such a long list that she was like, I have to do another book. And so this is the second book, and that's Ryan right there. Let me see if I can get it right there. Right there.
There he is, yeah.
And I also got to highlight Dr. Anisha White. She's a board-certified plastic surgeon here in town. So, I mean, there's just so many people in here. Well, I can't even tell. Look, there's Ryan right there. I know he's watching right now.
Yeah. Ryan, if you're watching, this is your moment. And you said he's going to be in the special that's airing tomorrow, right, too? Yeah?
Yeah, so as you just saw, you just heard from Anita this morning, and you were watching this morning, and you just saw that story that we showed you at the beginning of this live stream. You heard from Anita. Just to kind of give you some background, but yes, tomorrow at 5, when we air our 30-minute special, which is a great special, I know our producer, Gary Williams, has been working very hard on it.
Yes, he has.
Hosted by Robert Hadlock. There's going to be trivia, so you're going to want to learn. You're going to want to watch, because you're also going to learn while you're watching. But Ryan Coaxum is the other person that I'm highlighting. He's in this book. Dr. Aisha White, she's in this book. I'm also highlighting her, so you'll get to hear from them, and you'll get to hear a little bit more from Anita as well.
I love this. This is incredible. And again, if you all are just joining us, we were talking about honoring Black history here on KXAN. Of course, February is Black History Month, which highlights so many achievements and history and legacy here in the community, not just in Austin, but all across the country. And so if you want to tune in tomorrow night, take a look at this. We have a special running on Saturday at 5 p.m. right here on KXAN. It's Austin's Hidden History, highlighting Black History Month and achievements of Black Austinites for sure. Candy Rodriguez once again joining us. And Candy, you have several pieces that we're going to be running in the special. Is that right?
Just this one. So
just the one.
Yeah,
okay.
So it's just this
with
one.
Ryan.
We have several other pieces. I know I heard Kristen. I actually myself haven't had a chance to watch it because I've been working
that'd be
very
fun to
hard
watch
on this.
then, yeah.
Exactly. But I heard Kristen this morning on air when she said that she was looking through it and she saw that they were going to be featuring the first female Black meteorologist. So I thought that was very interesting.
Yes, that story has gotten a lot of headlines here recently. I saw another piece about that. It was really, really interesting, and her daughter is kind of helping extend her legacy too, and sharing her mom's story, which is really amazing.
And Gary, our producer, who has been working extremely hard on this 30-minute special, did mention to me yesterday in passing, there's going to be trivia in there. And I was like, oh, okay. So, I mean, it's cool because you're going to get to watch these stories. It's highlighting Austin's Black history, but also learning as you go. I mean, at the same time, you're learning by watching the stories because you're learning something new that you probably didn't know about, or you probably didn't even know that this existed. And so but the fact that he's added trivia in there, I just thought was super cool. So
Yeah.
that gets you, you know, you have to make sure to pay attention. You have to make sure to
Something
tune
interactive
in.
for everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. Well, Candy, before we go and wrap up our stream, is there anything you'd like to add about these stories and what you've kind of picked up from highlighting some of them?
No, I think it's extremely important that we highlight all cultures, and especially during Black History Month, I think it's important that we highlight the African American community and showcase the achievements. I mean, that is the name of the book, Achievements in Black Austin. It's important to recognize. One thing that Anita did tell me is that she did have some trouble with some of the folks because they didn't want to be highlighted, because she said, you know, these people that I was calling up were telling me, what do you mean you want to highlight me? I'm just doing my job.
I thought that was interesting. In the piece that aired not too long ago, she says that. I mean, people were kind of hesitant to be able to speak out and really shine a light on themselves, and they totally deserve it.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
so I think it's extremely important that we take a look at this and really take into consideration what she's doing and the purpose behind it, because like she said, when I was talking to her and interviewing her, she's like, I want people to see what I see in my community and not what you might think is my community.
And an amazing job that is.
Yes.
Well, Candy, thank you again for joining us, and we look forward to your story that's going to air tomorrow again at 5 o'clock. Austin's Hidden History. This is a special that's going to air on KXAN. Please tune in. Our Robert Hadlock is going to be hosting it and kind of guiding us through that conversation. So we do appreciate you all watching. Candy, thank you again.
Thank you, Will.
It's the end of your morning, so that's a good thing,
I'm
I would
done.
imagine. Yeah.
I'm going to go sleep now. I'm excited, though, because this took a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
And just like Anita, it took a lot of hard work for Anita. So
Yeah.
I'm excited that you guys will get to watch this tomorrow, and I'm ready to go take a nap now.
Definitely worth highlighting, too. Well, thank you again, Candy, and thank you all for watching here on KXAN Live. We do appreciate it. We'll have some other updates throughout the day, so please stay with us. Have a great one, everybody.